Welcome everyone to my Rose Cup video. This is my final tournament and first match I am facing SRV235. I wasn't supposed to attend, but I decided in the last second. And here I am leading Scrafty into his Steelix. So I know he's going to try to switch. So my switch trade is up, but I see that he isn't trying to switch. So I go for a power up punch, doesn't matter if I hit great or not. So I am racking up my counter damage. So this is a crunch. Even an earthquake at that range will KO. Now this might be an aerialist, so I shield, but it's a night slash. So now I go for a +1 foul play. This is going to do heavy damage to Glyspar. And I switch to Wigglytuff. I think he's going to earthquake me. So he goes for another Night Slash. I charm him down. He's probably going to come back with his Steelix. He comes back with his Marowak. Now I do not need to shield any of this. I need my Wigglytuff down. So he goes for a Bone Club. I go for Ice Beam. I'll take as much damage as possible. He shields. I switch back into my own Marowak. Now shields are down. Now I can just shield his Shadow Ball and go for straight Shadow Ball. He's running a Fire Blast. That's something new. So Fire Blast would I actually ran into a Fire Blast Marowak back in Fusion, I think. So the Marowak would get walled by Knockdown, but if it ran Fire Blast would almost one-shot Knockdown, and no one would ever shield their Knockdown first, unless they knew that Marowak was running Fire Blast. So interesting set from him. So now I run into a Drifloon. He is running a very spicy team with Drifloon and Steelix. Steelix is decent, but I see Probopasses everywhere, and Probopass is just so good that I don't think anyone runs Steelix apart from Drifloon. So he is going to debuff me with Icy Wind. Now I am going to go for another foul play. Now I should have gone for Power Up Punch here, trying to bait. And he shields this foul play and he switches to his Wigglytuff, and I instantly switch to my Marowak. Now always keep your fingers near your switch tray and be ready if you are running Scrafty, because one charm would do about 20% of Scrafty's health. So always be ready, and if you see your opponent is switching, I usually blind switch if I see my opponent is switching into L1 Marowak, because I do not want any charm damage on my Scrafty. So here I decide to fire spin his Wigglytuff down. He comes back into his Machamp. Now I try to shield bait here with Bone Club. He shields. Now even if this is a cross chop, it will KO me, and I want to hit his Machamp with a Shadow Ball, and I get to a Shadow Ball. The Shadow Ball at this health will one-shot Machamp. It does. So he switches to Drifloon, and I instantly switch to my Wigglytuff. It doesn't matter, I can just charm him down at this health. He goes for a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is double resisted. I take game number 2, game number 3. Same mindset, but I decide to switch up my team. I go for Golbat this time, and he leads with a Wigglytuff. So I predicted him. Now I am ready for a switch, but I see he doesn't switch, so I go for a Poison Fang. Now you can get to 2 Poison Fangs before 1 Ice Beam, so always be ready for your opponent to duck, because a lot of opponents I saw that they are very good at ducking. So I always overcharge my charge moves about 1, 2, or 3 fast moves ahead, depending on the animation of the fast move. Now he does Earthquake me, but Earthquake will not. It does heavy damage, but it will not one-shot Scrafty. Now I just need to win switch advantage. I don't need this Scrafty anymore because I don't want his Vegeta to farm me down. So I decide to let this crunch go, and it doesn't KO. And I'm up a shield. So he decides to come back into Gliscor. Now this is dangerous for me. So I come back to my Golbat. I have 2 shields, I shield. It's going to be a Night Slash. And I go for a straight Shadow Ball. And now I should have tried to bait more. I do bait a lot later, but I didn't bait much. But still he didn't shield, it went through. So he comes back into Wigglytuff. I switch to Marowak and I can tank this player off. I think it doesn't matter. I can fire spin him down. Now this time I decide to bait. Not really sure about baiting. And he shields and I get to a Shadow Ball. Now this Shadow Ball will KO Gliscor. So I take round 1, GG. Round 2, I decide to lead with Golbat. And he decides to lead with Clefable. Again I got the first lead. Now I did play game number, now this is actually game number 2. I actually lost the footage from game 1, so sorry about that. I only have footage for game 2 and game 3. So this is game 2, I won game 1. And again, here I shield the Shadow Ball, I predict correctly. And I go for my own Shadow Ball. Now Golbat versus Alolan Marowak, whoever lands the Shadow Ball wins. He decides to double shield his Alolan Marowak. I do not know if that's a good thing or not. Now again he decides to use up his energy. He should have just fire spun me down, but I do not get KO'd. I think he undercharged his Bone Club. I can tank 1 or 2 Bone Clubs at this point. Probopass, although 4 times weak, it is very bulky of a mon. Very high defense. And he doesn't have any shields, it doesn't matter. What does he have in the back? Scrafty would give me some trouble. He does have Scrafty, and I switch to my Vegeta. And he switches into his Clefable. Now I decide to not use my charge move and shield that Meteor Mash. Because even if my Wigglytuff is low health, I can do huge damage with Charm, and I get a player of charge and I instantly player of his Scrafty. It's GG. Now match number 3, I take Rhyperior instead of Golbat. I should have gone with Golbat, I think, this match. I do a couple of mistakes. I should have gone with Golbat. And he leads with Clefable. I should have gone with Golbat. Now I am going to go for Rockcracker. Rockcracker will almost one-shot Wigglytuff and Clefable. Almost one-shot. I don't think it one-shots from full health, but it does huge damage. But I do get off a shield. But here he's just going to sack his Clefable and come back with Scrafty and farm out my Probopass. It doesn't matter at this point. I already lost the game. Although I'm up a shield, it's nothing I can do here. And again, I knew he was gonna come back with Scrafty. I think I shouldn't have shielded that. It doesn't matter if I switched or not. It was basically game in the lead scenario. He's going to fire spin Bone Club me down. Now if I had Granbull here instead of Wigglytuff, it might be different because I would get to a crunch. I can bait out his shields with from Marowak and farm down with Probopass, but still. So bad team comp by me. and I do not know why I shielded that. I should have come back with my Probo Pass and farmed the energy. So that is a mistake, and I don't shield. So versus match number 3, round number 3 I guess, versus Shapakyu. So I did go 2-1 in the previous round. I am facing a very hard loss, so I switched to my Scrafty. I knew that if I lost the lead, I would not be able to switch to a Alolan Marowak because he has Scrafty in his team. That is the benefit of having Scrafty. Now he switches to his Alolan Marowak, and this is good for me. Scrafty, I try to bait, and I do get the bait, and I go for a +1 foul play. I will land this +1 foul play. And it goes through, it does huge damage to his Alolan Marowak. Now I let this go. Now again, I should have shielded that, and I should have tried to counter him or power punched him down. I needed switch advantage. This is going to be a bone club, I do not need to shield. Again, it doesn't matter, it's basically RPS at this point. He's going to come back into Rhyperior, and he has Scrafty in the back for my Probo Pass. So it doesn't matter, I really needed to win switch advantage. If I had one switch advantage, this match could be different. And he instantly switches to Scrafty, doesn't matter if I shield or not, it's going to be a power punch. It's going to counter me down, it has 4 times counter. And +1. Now my Wigglytuff does have some health, and I decide to not use any charge moves, and we simultaneous KO, both with 1 shield. So if I had used my charge move and if he had used his charge move, the other would win the game because he would lose 1 fast move. So again, I lose the hard, I lose the lead hard, and I switch to my Probo Pass. He is going to mud slap me down. I go for a Magnet Bomb. It does huge damage. It's super effective versus Rhyperior. Now I can come back with Wigglytuff, Scrafty, doesn't matter. Again, it's that RPS situation. He goes for a Surf. I was ready to tank a Rock Cracker even, but he goes for a Surf, I don't know why. Now I shouldn't have shielded there. But still, it doesn't matter. I think even if I hadn't shielded that Surf, it wouldn't matter. Because now he's going to come back with Golbat. Now Wigglytuff and Scrafty both goes to Golbat. Scrafty is softer versus Golbat, but still Golbat with energy beats it clean. That's why I prefer Golbat over Charizard and Skarmory, because Charizard and Skarmory lose to Machef, and it's not clean, but versus Golbat, Golbat is much more clean versus the fighters. And I go for a Power Punch Shield Bait. Still, it wouldn't matter, the game is already decided. I will not even get to a foul. Even if I had landed that foul play, he had another Mon back in the back, so it doesn't matter. So match number 3, actually second match, I counted. I take Scrafty and I have Alolan Marowak this time in the back. So now I am going to play out this match, and I am not going to shield this Poison Fang. And I will go for a foul play, not shield baiting this time. And he tanks the foul play, and I instantly switch to my Alolan Marowak, and he switches to Rhyperior. Now this is good. This is good for me, because Rhyperior beats both Alolan Marowak and Probo Pass. So I basically sack my Alolan Marowak here. Now I can come back with my own Scrafty and farm him out. I farm him down and I go for a power up punch bait, but I decide to shield. He gets CMP. Golbat's attack is I think higher than Scrafty. Scrafty is more of a defensive fighter. Golbat kind of offensive. Now, if he has Scrafty in the back, it's GG. But he doesn't have Scrafty. He has Alolan Marowak in the back, and I got 1 or 2 extra sparks from that Golbat. Now Marowak usually beats Probopass, but if Probopass gets like 1 or 2 sparks extra, Probopass can actually win if that is a spark Probopass. You need 1 or 2 sparks extra, you win. That is why I run Spark instead of Rock Throw, because Spark can go for shield breaking and a lot of stuff. So he goes for a Bone Club, I shield. I go for another Rock Slide. This is a very high rank Probopass. I can tank 2, even 3 Bone Clubs. Now I knew he was going to Shadow Ball me, so I had to Sack Switch, and I got the Sack Switch. I ducked. He had no way. If I didn't duck, he would have Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball would KO Probopass at that match. So I managed to pull it off. That was my only win condition in that match. So this time I switch into my own Golbat, and he's leading with Marowak. Again, whoever lands the Shadow Ball wins. I go for a bait. Will he take the bait? He takes the bait. And this may be a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will one-shot Golbat. And I called off his bait. This is huge for me, huge. So I charge up to a Shadow Ball and I switch to my Scrafty. I am lagging very much in this match. I don't know why. Yeah, there was a concert going on there, so it lagged a lot. Everyone was lagging. The network was just bad. Now I will just go for a foul play. He lets it go, and I get to another foul play. I farmed enough energy on that Rhyperior. That's why I believe Scrafty is so better than Machamp and even Medicham. I believe Scrafty is probably the best fighter in this stuff because of it. It can take down a little Marowak clean. I have a shield left. It's basically GG at this point. I can just go for back-to-back Rock Slides. And he has a little Marowak. I go for Rock Slide. Rock Slide will KO Marowak at this hill. I decide to let it go. Again, high IV Probopass. I spark him down, and I'm going to get to another Rock Slide on his Golbat. So GG. Round 4 versus Abba. I am surprisingly he doesn't have a fighter, so I decide to go with double rock with Probopass lead, and I catch his Wigglytuff. Now I was ready for him to switch, but he didn't switch, so I go for Magnet Bomb. I don't know why he isn't switching. I think he's charging up an Ice Beam and he's going to switch. But I get to Rock Slide. I think he's sacking his Wigglytuff. Yeah, he did sack his Wigglytuff. So he comes back with a little Marowak. Again, I have enough energy on my Probopass to get 2 Rock Slides at this point to burn shields. And I have Probopass in the back. I have Rhyperior in the back. Rhyperior, again, is so good. It's very clean versus a little Marowak. It can just mud slap a little Marowak down. Now he shields again. I burn his both shields. Now I could shield here to get off another Rock Slide, but I don't, because Rock Slide I don't think is going to KO a little Marowak at that health, and I didn't want his little Marowak to farm out the rest of my Probopass, so I switched to my Rhyperior. Now I tank this Bone Club. It's not going to KO. Even if that was a Shadow Ball, it wouldn't KO. So now I am going to shield. he switches to his Gligar. I go for Rock Cracker. Surf is super effective, but Rock Cracker is just so good. Now I get to a Surf, but he wins CMP. Rock Cracker's DPE is extremely high. And I survive the Night Slash and I go for Surf. And Mudslap will KO his Arak. GG. So again I am leading Rhyperior, and this time he leads Steelix again. I catch his Steel type. That's the problem if you don't have any fighter here. I know fighters don't do much in this cup, but they have a key role in taking down Probopass and the Steel types actually. So here I shield. He goes for a crunch. Doesn't matter. I farm down his Steelix. I am down a shield, but still I will get to Surf. I go for a Surf to burn his shield. He shields. Now I don't know if I shield here or not. Yes, I do shield here because I will get to a Surf. But he charged up to 2 Bone Clubs. I wasn't counting that much, so that was a misplay on my part. But still, I get to a Surf. This was a misplay, by the way. PvP ID saved me, and I take down his last shield. I have Probopass in the back. He can go for Bone Club. He can go for 2 Bone Clubs. Still on KO. His Marowak is basically energy for me. So I tank the first one. I go for a Rock Slide. I do not want another Bone Club on my Probopass. Again, he doesn't have a fighter, so I don't need to worry. I can stay in. So now I switch into my Wigglytuff to burn his energy. He has to burn his energy on my Wigglytuff. He goes for a Night Slash. Doesn't KO. This is probably going to be another Night Slash. I don't know if his Gligar is unlocked or not, but Dig would be better here. Dig is neutral, Night Slash is resistant. He goes for triple Night Slash, and I get to an Ice Beam. Again, I take match number 2. GG. Match number 3. Same mindset, switching up the flow. I take Rhyperior, and this time he takes his own Rhyperior. Now, whoever throws loses. So I don't know why I go for a Surf to burn his shield. He shields, and I will probably shield here. Now I shouldn't have used that Surf. I should have just Mud Slapped him down, and we both simultaneously here. I come back with my Probopass, and he comes back into his Gligar, and he switches to his Alolan Marowak. I think he got that switch tree up, and he mistapped into Alolan Marowak here, because that was the better switch. So he's going to go for a Bone Club. I go for Rock Slide. It's going to do huge damage to that Alolan Marowak. Now I could have survived that Bone Club. But I decide to switch into my Wigglytuff to farm energy on that Alolan Marowak. I have Rock Slide ready in case, and I charm him down because at this point I am thinking that he doesn't have Dig on his Gligar. But he actually has Aerial Ace on his Gligar, and I get to an Ice Beam, and this Ice Beam will KO Gligar at any health. It's 4 times. Weak to Ice. Now the final rounds, I lost the first part of the first match, and I'm sorry about that. The recording glitched out, and here I am facing I am sacking my Wigglytuff because Wigglytuff has done its job. It took down Machamp. He goes for a Magnet Bomb. And now I can just come back with my little Marek. I am up a shield. I shield the rock slide. Now I am thinking about double shielding my little Marek. Now I go for a bone club. Now I know he is going to try to duck. He is going to try to duck and get the bone club. I'm thinking he might duck. So I do not see here. I do not tap the bone club because I'm expecting a duck, and I go for a shadow ball. If he ducked correctly, he would have won the match because shields were down. And I get to a bone club. Now after the attack CMP, attack weighted CMP update, Marek wins CMP versus Pro Pass. So always be ready for your opponent to duck. This time I'm leading Rapier and he leads Grand Bull. This is bad. This is bad for me. And now I switch to my little Marek, and he switches to his own Marek. But I try to go for a bait again. I believe that people, it's a tournament, right? So people are very tense during tournaments, and a lot of people don't bait, and a lot of people shield the first move because they don't know if the opponent is baiting or not. So I usually get off the bait. I think that I usually get off the bait. Now I shield the shadow ball correctly. This is huge. This is going to be a bone club. This is a bone club. Bone club will not KO me. And I get to a shadow ball and I win the switch advantage. This was my only win condition. Just winning switch advantage. Correct bait call, and I'm up a shield. So this is what happens when you bait correctly. I have Wigglytuff can charm down Grand Bull. Now this is why Grand Bull is a side grade of Wigglytuff, because Wigglytuff can just charm down Grand Bull, but Wigglytuff needs to shield the close combat, but he goes for a crunch, and I will just charm down his Machamp. Now this cross chop is going to KO Wigglytuff, but I have a full health Rhyperior, and one Mudslap will KO Grand Bull. So I take the championship, playing game number 3 for sportsmanship. I take Scrafty lead and he goes for a Golbat lead. He switched up his team. He adapted to my previous team. Now I do not shield the Poison Fang. And I go for a Power Up Punch bait. And he doesn't fall for the bait this time. So I think he was ready to tank even a foul play. So I go for a Bone Club. Even if I have him for Shadow Ball, I will still lose. Rhyperior is just that good of a wall to a little Marek. So I go for another Bone Club to burn shields, and he shields this time, and he's going to Mudslap me down. So although I'm up a shield, his Rhyperior has a lot of energy. So I switch to my Scrafty. He's going to Surf. I shield. And I couldn't counter him down. He gets to another Surf. It's basically GG at this point. He has Golbat, and Golbat beats Scrafty and Wigglytuff. And he has Grand Bull. So although my Wigglytuff can charm down his Grand Bull, but his Golbat is going to just come back with and Poison Fang me down. So I go 2-1, and in the final round I win 2-1, and I take another cup. This time I sweep 5-0. I wish I could have waited this cup, but I didn't think that I would actually play again in another cup. And props to everyone who joined. And I am happy to conclude Rose Cup because I do not like the meta of Rose Cup, and I'm very hyped for Toxic Cup. I am going to do a meta simplified guide on Toxic Cup, and I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. This is Bhuvan Ahmed signing out. Hey, my ears are red.